Well, all right. Woo! This is the Good News Show. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Good News Show. I'm your girl. I'm Mathell Givens, and I've got with me my co-host, Van the Man.
Hey, everybody. So glad to be here with you tonight.
Yes. All right. It's something about tonight. Woo! Something about tonight, everybody.
About tonight, it just feels right. Something about tonight, feels right. Oh, all right, we're gonna have a real good show this evening. I'm not gonna daylight saving time because we still got a little daylight.
Yes. Something about tonight right here on the Good News Show. Well, listen, everybody, you know I'm your girl. Hey, I need you to run, tell a friend. I need you to call somebody right away. And I need you all that if you haven't, like the show. And I want to thank you so much for listening in this evening because I know that you could be anywhere. But you've chosen to be with us tonight, and I'm telling you, quite an opportunity for us here on the Good News Show to have you and your friends listening in. We have quite a show planned for you tonight, I'm telling you, hey. But let me just get Van the Man in here for a minute and tell you a little bit about some of this good news that's going on with him. He's in Carbondale right now. He's not even on the set up here with me. Van the Man, woo-wee, tell me about that good news. Tell our listeners about the good news.
Family, thank you so much for your outpouring of support. I see it every day on my Facebook. Van Eichner running for Illinois State Representative District 118. And y'all make my day every day. All right. It's so much love, so much support. I appreciate all the encouragement. Y'all keep saying, go, Van, go. And I keep saying it's a we thing, not a me thing, baby. And I'm just so happy to be able to represent the people. And with that being said, Mama, I have to tell you that tonight, this group of men that you have gathered together, it lets me know that not only is it good to be in good spirits, but it's also good to be in good company. Tonight, we got Juan Acevedo from, what is it, 726 or 626 Barbers and Stylists?
Yeah, 726 Barbers and Stylists.
Yes. And I'm talking about this gentleman has a story that is going to touch your heart and touch your lives. It's about us leaning in together, us having an opportunity to let somebody really see your light shine. And then when you get the opportunity to let your light shine, people are able to identify a little bit of themselves in you. And that's what we want to do tonight, Juan. We want people to be able to come together and see that bright light that you have and be able to talk to the people in a way that when you get done talking, that they understand who you are and whose you are and what you really stand for.
Well, all right. Well, we have 4 great men on our show tonight. I'm so thankful and so honored. I want you to know that these 4 men that are on the Good News Show tonight, they're hoping that they can say a word or two to be a part of helping a young boy or man that grew up without a father, that they would be able to say something to them that would have an effect on their heart. We know that there are a lot of hurting men out there, a lot of hurting young boys out there, but we want these young men that are here tonight, they say iron sharpens iron. And that's what they're here to do tonight. Some mother will be listening and hear this show before her son or daughter will even hear the show. And she may be able to turn the show on and let them listen. And our objective tonight is that it will stop. Whatever is going on that's wrong will stop. it will steer them in the right way, and they would want to know more. And they would even might want to know these young men that have been on this show tonight. So tonight, right now, I just want to bring forefront to you. His name is Trustee Julian Alexander. He's from Richton Park. He is an awesome man of God. He is a brother to me, and he's a brother to a many. He is an inspirational person. He is a father. He's one of the greatest fathers I've ever known. His family is so loving. They have so many beautiful gatherings. He is an inspiration. He will be able to say something to you that's going to steer you right, because he's in the right position where he is as Trustee Julian Alexander, the village of Richton Park. He's in a village where there's a lot of people and they have a lot of gatherings, and he does a lot of speaking. So listen, without any further delays, I would like to welcome him to the Good News Show. Everybody, welcome.
All
Trustee
right.
Julian
Welcome.
Alexander.
Well, thank you, Ms. Mathell Gibbons and the Good News Show. I'd like to first say hello to my co-panelists, Juan, Van, and Pastor Henderson. Thank you so much for inviting me and giving me this opportunity to reach out to some of our young people, whether it be boys, girls, or men, to reach out and just say that God is with us. God is with you. He has his hand on you, and he has a plan for you, and you cannot divert from that plan. Right now, we are looking at our world being in turmoil. We have things that are happening in our cities, our states, our country, in our world. And I'm speaking of the war in Ukraine with the Russians. I'm speaking of police violence in the cities. I'm speaking of young men and women that are doing some terrible things as carjackings and murdering their own. And this has to stop. And the only way we can have it stop is to pray to our God and ask him to stop the violence that is happening in our city. We need to right now gather together as a family. We need to move to the church for prayer and pray on it. But more than anything, we need to talk to one another. We need to love one another. We need to be respectful of each other. If I could ask you just to take time out of your busy day and speak to your friends and ask them, why is our world in such turmoil, and what can we do? What can we do as a people to change that? How do we change that? This conversation needs to be held with our young people at a round table. It needs to be held into a mentoring program. It needs to be held in our churches. We are responsible for what happens to our generation. And our generation needs to step up, not just the young generation, but the older generation too. I would ask that you have that conversation. I would ask that you look to love and not to a gun. I would ask that you look for love and not for violence. I would like to say that those things that are causing us harm, we're bringing it on ourselves. We need to stop. We need to stop. We need to take time. At my church, Victory Apostolic Church in Mathell, Illinois, we have a Thursday night men in the basement. And those men get in the basement, 60, 70, 80 men in the basement, and we have a conversation on many of different topics. And those topics bring us together. We talk about things that are harming us, that are making us mean to each other and hateful to the world. And once you talk about those things, you find out that some of these things, they don't have to exist in our world. They definitely do not have to exist in our world. And I think that when we find a way to bring those qualities into the room, our best qualities, let me put it that way, when we bring our best qualities into the room, we can solve a lot of our differences. I hope I don't take too much time, but I just wanted to make sure that I got that out.
Right now. I love it. I love it, Trustee Julian Alexander. I find you to be an inspiration in my life. You always speak from the heart, and that's genuine. You can't manufacture that. And I think that if more people slow down and begin to have dialogue, we're going to actually get some better results. And that's what it's about. We have to begin conversations, and then we have to allow ourselves to really stay objective, and in the light of new information, be able to change what is possibly the product of us being products of our environment. Exactly. And having an opportunity to change our patterns of behavior.
I'd like to also say that in my community, right at this particular time, over the next 3 weeks, some people feel that they have to do certain things to make it in our world. And they may turn to violence. But I want to offer them a chance that we have job fairs, we have community center job fairs, we have state job fairs, and I'm going to definitely make sure that the Good News Show gets the information where you can pass this information on to your listeners, where they can go to seek counseling, where they can seek jobs, where they can seek spiritual help and spiritual guidance. I definitely want to pass that information on to you so you can have that.
Well, I definitely would like for you to come back on the Good News Show and share the good news, because that's what we need. We need men and women thinking of ways that we can help our youth and our young men and our older men, because even older men find themselves in mischievous things that they shouldn't be in. And yet and still, when they have programs to go to, that's a start. So definitely, I want to know about what all is happening in Richton Park that could help somebody. I really do, because that's what it's all about. If we can help somebody.
Right. I told a little story, and I'm not going to brag about it. I'm just going to say that it's the way that my parenting skills go. And I spoke to Juan and Pastor Henderson about this, and I explained to them at this particular time, I'm sending my third grandchild to college, which is in my family is something very special, because all my siblings did not go to college, but all my children did, and now their children have seen it. And to make it interesting to them, I take each one of them to whatever graduation, celebration, whatever, and I show them. You know, I believe that we have to show our children what they should be doing and where they should be going and how they should be doing it. And I think that's a big part of my parenting skills is I don't complain, argue at them. I show them. I show them what's right. I show them what needs to be done and how it should be done. Now, I may not have the best parenting skills because my wife co-parents with me, and some of her skills outweigh mine.
That's it.
Some of her skills outweigh mine. I have to admit, I got a partner in this. But I think we have to show our children, and doing that brings reality to the forefront. They have a visual, and as men, we need visuals. That's what we look at. We are visual beings, and so we need to see it. And once we see it, we can obtain it, because all our youth are part of the master plan, and God gave us the plan and gave us the people. So we have to cherish our youth. We definitely do.
That's right. When our children see, or just another young person see something that's being done positive, it makes them want to become better. They want to become positive. That's outstanding. It's outstanding what you do with your children and your children's children. And they look up to, because you are an inspiration. You are a man that is a doer. You are a man that's an achiever. And that's outstanding. That you're quite a mentor.
I appreciate those kind words, and I appreciate the kind introduction. But I just like for you to know that I think every man on this panel has instilled something into their children and mentoring children. We move in a direction to bring greatness to our families, to our generation, and to the African American male. One of the things that I must say is that I'd love to see my brothers and sisters attain greatness. And to do that, they have, my dad used to tell me, when you're making money, you don't look at the clock. You don't worry about what time it is. You're out making money. And if we want to make something good, we can't look at the past. We have to look at our future. And we have to instill that in our children, to look at the future before you. Don't worry about what you did in the past, because if God can forgive you, I definitely can. So if it's wrong, it's done. It's in the past. But in the future, let's make the right choices. Let's make the big gains. Let's go for the gusto. Let's not think about what we did in the past. Let's do the future.
Absolutely. And every man on this panel tonight, I'm telling you, everyone is an inspiration. I mean, God put each one of them in my mind, and each one of you have done something very positive, even in my life, that have inspired me. You, Juan, have done something in my life that have inspired me. Mm-hmm. Pastor Henderson has done something in my life. We grew up together. I just a little old girl. We in the same community. My grandfather, Deacon Brown, I mean, he helped him become the minister that he is today. And so, yes, and my son, oh my God, he didn't have a father to mentor, but he had this great mama, this great woman. Oh God, he had me.
Well, I'm proof that God always gives you what you need, the same way that you are, my love. What's amazing about everybody, and I think that we definitely want to spread a time around for everybody to have a chance to speak. I can't help but to note that all of us, with our ability to be here and to show up and be present, that's the real gift. The idea that each one of us come from different backgrounds and can talk about where we're from, that only draws more people in so that they can identify with the group of us. We collectively, how the word tells us that one can take 1,000, two can take 10,000. Think about the five strand cord that's represented right here. I know that in a lot of our communities that we are suffering from lack of resources. And I like that you touched on the idea about pointing out avenues where people can find resources, Trustee Alexander. Mm-hmm. And not only, you didn't just mention physical resources such as jobs and housing opportunities, but you also talked about mental health, and you talked about the opportunity for people to come together and talk and dialogue, how you're doing, having a men's group at your church and bringing together 50 and 60 men and that are talking about unique perspectives. I'm sure there's somebody that jumps up in the middle of the meeting and say, well, I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth. And I'm worried about eating every day. And I don't, you got all of this ability to be happy about everything because you go home and flip the light switch and your lights always is on or your water is running. But when you're dealing with people like that, when you're dealing with people who are like us that come from these different backgrounds, you have to be able to meet the people where they are and let them know that don't let the smooth taste fool you because it ain't always been good.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Well, Trustee Julian Alexander, will you just, before you wrap it up, let us know where your church is and where you meet men in the basement?
Okay, I would definitely love to spread that. My church is Victory Apostolic Church, and it's located in Mathell, Illinois. Our pastor is Andrew D. Singleton Jr. We meet on Thursday evening. We meet at 6:30 and 7 o'clock. That time is probably 7 o'clock. And we meet at the church, and we meet some brothers cannot make it, so they are able to attend via Zoom.
All right, very good.
And if you go to the Victory Apostolic website, you will see the information on the website that will lead you to Brothers in the Basement.
All right, I
And
love that.
I got to say this: what happens in the basement stays in the basement.
Come on now.
I love it. Well, I want to thank you so much for being on the Good News Show and sharing the good news.
Well,
And
thank
I
you for
really
having me.
appreciate you for all the inspiration that you have brought. And if you could just say a short word, something inspiring, even
Well,
more so.
I definitely can. I'd like to thank you for having me and my co-host, Van. Thank you for accepting me, and my co-panelists, Juan and Pastor Henderson. Thank you so much for accepting me into this wonderful arena. I just want to say that men such as yourselves can lead thousands of men, not only to God, but to the best lives they can have, the best life that they can have. And I thank you so much for that. One of the things I just want to say is God has a plan for us. And all we have to do is read our Bible and follow the instructions in the plan.
Amen. Well, thank you so much for being on the Good
Thank you.
News Show. And we'll
Thank you.
see you again. You're welcome. We'll see you again real soon for more
Thank
good
you
news.
very much.
All
God
right.
bless you all.
Thank you.
Love you. Talk to you soon. Hey, there we go.
All right. Ooh, that was outstanding. Oh my God. I just thank God for such inspiring words to all that is listening here tonight. And at this time, I just would like to have this opportunity to have my co-host bring on our next guest.
Oh, guys, listen, I already warmed you up some, but what's wonderful is that we have Juan Acevedo here with us tonight. He is a father of a beautiful 8-year-old boy, and he has his story and his journey to talk to us about what it's been like for him. And I don't want to tell his story. I want him to have an opportunity to talk with us. But he is my new brother from another mother. I'm so thankful for his testimony and his life. And I'm just going to turn the mic over. Come on, Juan. Talk to the people on the Good News Show this evening.
Well, first and foremost, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for, for thinking about me again and having me on the show. And just, it's an honor just to be in the same platform as all of you guys. And, first and foremost, again, you already know who I am, Juan Acevedo Jr. But just a long story short, born and raised here in Chicago. My mom came from Mexico. I got 5 sisters, 1 brother. He lives in Mexico all his life. My mom was a single mother. Unfortunately, I had a father at an early age. Between birth until 9 years old. And I would love to. The reason why I want to talk about this point in my life, because I know maybe there's a kid out there. It doesn't matter if you're Black, white, Latino. We all go through probably a similar situation. And if I could connect to you, whoever's listening to, just want you to know that, I went through it. My dad got locked up at 9 when I was 9 years old. He left, came back out when I was 13, and then he left my mom. And, but my mom was raising me and my other 3 sisters. My other 2 sisters, I did say I had 5. They're already older. So, they were married, they had kids, but it was 4 of us, and my mom was taking care of us. To this day, I always think, like, how did she do it? Because I'm a single father. But also I do know, and I do recognize I am a single father. My son lives with me, but I'm not a single parent, because I co-parent with my son's mom. Unfortunately, we're going through some stuff, but I know that these are obstacles in life that, these are tests that God is putting in my life. And I'm trying so hard to look at the negative and turn it into a positive. And at a very young age, I've always done that. So going back to that, when, my father got locked up, that was a turning point in my life. And, I think a lot of us, again, this might shock some people, or I want to change the perspective. At first, you're going to get mad at God, or ask yourself why, why did this have to happen? But in reality, I feel like, it was a blessing that happened to my life, because of that situation. It actually, in the long term, which is where I'm at now, it prepared me to be the best father I am today, not having my father in my life. I don't know where I would be if I did have my father. We don't know, right? If he was going to be a good father to me or not. So, but I could be thankful now and not be mad that this actually happened to me, and I'm okay with it, because, I turned it around. I didn't take it I didn't become a victim, in the situation. And I think, to summarize my mom's, hard work, her work ethic, it actually reflects on me. She might have lived a different life, but her work ethic reflects on me, and her love, she 10x the love on me, so I didn't have a dad. So she would tell me, I hugged you twice, I kissed you twice. You know what I'm saying? So that love conquered, and I think that's so powerful. Don't ever stop loving, your mother. We don't, at a young age, we might not know the story, what happened, but as you get older, you're gonna have to figure that out on your own, and hopefully ask questions and close some anger in your life, and that way you could, keep moving forward as a young man. And it is gonna be tough. It's not gonna be easy. Whoever I'm talking to, and the reason I'm talking like this is because sometimes I feel like I am trying to talk to somebody. I don't know who it is, but I do know that whoever it is, just know that it's okay to be mad. It's okay to cry. It's okay, because that's the best thing about life, that, once you let it all out, and you let all that burden out and all that anger, you're going to feel better. And just know that there's something better out there in the long run. So yeah, and my scripts were flipped. I would have never thought I would have been a single dad, because you're trying to, you think you have control, but then God comes to you in life and says, I'm in control, not you. And
Right.
Fortunately, you try to be such a perfectionist in life and say, I'm not going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to go this way, I'm not going to go that way. And God says, you don't want to go this way, you're not going to go that way, but I need you to go right here, in the middle. And it might not have been where you want it to be, but that's where God was placing you, because of your journey, you're able to help other people, come out of some obstacles. And your story, like our stories, is going to help a lot of people out there. And I hope, just by me sharing that little part of my life, I think a lot of young guys need to also catch on to who their real friends are, and know that if there's something that's in your brain that's causing you to think bad, or to pick up a gun, or to pick up a bad habit, just try to go back and say, what, that verse, I don't know if everybody has heard that, what would Jesus do?
Yes.
Well, I switched it and said, I know what would Jesus do, right? Because that's why we like, God. But if you love your mom so much, also think about, what will your mom do? What will your mom say to you at
Come
that
on.
moment?
Come on.
And that's how I took it. Because if I say I don't want to make my mom cry, because my dad made my mom cry, her lifestyle was hard. So if I was gonna be that positive, motivation for her, then I try to do the best thing, follow the right path, and don't make her cry, because I didn't want to make her share another tear because of me. She already went through pain, because not having a male in her life, I'm already going through pain because I don't have a role model. But also, the best thing about life is that I would have never thought I would have landed to be a barber, because I had no father figure. I went to a shop for the first time at a young age, and I saw how all these men, all types of cultures, all in one room, and I was so amazed and blown. My mind was blown. So I realized that I could create my own Superman, and
I love it. I love it, Juan.
I grabbed a piece of every guy that walked in when I would get my hair cut. I wasn't a barber yet, but I was cutting hair because I started at 10 years old. I picked up some clippers and I started cutting hair, and it was a passion, you know. So, and when I went to the shop, I realized, you know, that this is amazing, you know. It excited me. It was something very new to me. So that was my gateway to get out of the streets and also playing soccer. But the beautiful thing about being at a shop, that I realized that it is a very impactful thing for these young men, even though we might not think about it now. Some barbers don't think about this, but me being the kid that came into the shop, it changed my whole life. It changed my perspective. It changed, you know, financially, my life has changed because of a barber. I didn't know it was a good career. I taught myself, self-taught. But yeah, going back to creating my own superhero, creating my own male figure, and I grabbed everything, the way someone talked. But I also had a choice, right? We all have a choice when we walk out that door. So I chose not to grab the bad habits. I grabbed all the good habits from every male, and you know, and listen to their stories. I didn't think like I knew it all. So I kind of just paid attention and grabbed everything like a sponge and see what was good and what was bad for me. But most importantly, from that journey, I took myself out of the streets because I overworked I became a workaholic, you know. So
Yeah.
I purposely told myself, I'm not gonna cut hair at a short time. I'm gonna do after hours overtime, so I don't have a gap of nothing to do, and then go on the streets and do something bad that I don't want to do, or hang out
That's
with
the
people, you know.
Juan, that's that idle hands are the devil's workshop theory,
Uh,
right? You know what I did? I think you speaking my language, because I believe in keeping our children busy. We got to
mhm.
give them something to do, and I love that in your story that you are able to understand how routine saves you, and your routine, your pattern of behavior. You were looking at what was going on in some other people's lives, and I don't know what you said. You have 4 sisters or
I
5?
got 5. There 2 are older
Right,
than
but
me.
2 adults and 3
Yeah,
of them grew up in the same age range as you.
yeah.
Where do you fall in the birth order of those
Oh,
girls?
I'm the baby. I'm the last one.
Oh God.
But I got 5 older
You
sisters.
you had to be like gold to your mom. She was like, "Oh Lord, not another girl. Just give me a boy." And then
Yeah,
Juan popped out. You know? It was
yeah,
like Mufasa. When they announced you, they was like, "Look at him,
yeah,
look at him."
yeah.
Oh my.
For
Well,
sure.
that's
It was
that's amazing.
and that's where I think I learned as I grew older. I try to go back sometimes and try to get some memories of how I became the person I am today. And I realized that because at first, being young and being the only boy in the house, it was tough because, you know, the girls get, you know, everything first. You know, they might say like, oh, the boy's the special, he's the baby, but there were women, there were young ladies, you know, so they had to go, if they had to take a shower first, they had to make sure everything was clean. You know, they came first. It was like, it's like when you open a door for a lady, be a gentleman, right? So I
Yeah,
became a gentleman. I was taught how to respect women, how to treat them, how to talk to them, how to, you know, so it was a blessing as well to grow up with a lot of women in my life. And when I say, they ask me, you know, do you have a woman or a special lady in your life? I always say, yeah, I got 5 or I got 6, you know. It's because of,
hey.
you know,
That is awesome.
you know, yeah, so based on, you know, growing up with just amazing women, I know it's tough, and um our paths were different, but at the same time, I always I became ambitious at a very young age, and I try to be the example to all my sisters that, you know, um they don't have to, because we all have, there's statistics, you know, we all know there's statistics that a lot of young men that don't grow up with their fathers, they might go to that wrong path, and it's a
Right.
choice. So I chose not to go down that path. So I didn't want to be the conversation in the family that says, oh, we knew it, you know, he was gonna go that way, he didn't have a dad, da, 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 da. And I said, I want the conversations to be different. I want him to say like, yo, how did he do it? How,
Yeah.
how did how is that possible that he didn't have a dad, and you did, and he did this and he did that. But I feel like sometimes we all sometimes have the same moment of obstacles or choices, that you have a choice at that moment to choose what you want to do. And I chose not to be the guy talked about in the family reunions or anything that said, hey, I just wanted to always it to be positive. And that's how I made my mom proud. That's how I made my mom smile.
I love
There
it.
was other ways of making my mother smile and happy. So I also realized it was not just about the money. You could give somebody, your mom, a house or all this stuff. That's great, and I applaud anybody that's willing to do that. But there's other ways to give happiness to your mom, or even if I keep saying mom, but I also there might be a kid out there that only has a father. You know what I'm saying? So there's other ways of making smile.
Gianni has two
Yeah,
parents, but he's really learning a lot from his dad.
yeah, and and like I said, I have this is a new journey, very new journey to me, being a father, and um, I think I'm doing the best I can. But I also, one of the things I've learned is, if you ask me, when people ask, hey, are you a good barber? Can you cut hair? I could say I'm a great barber, But if I say I'm a great barber, I want to be an example of saying you can't be a great barber and suck as a father. So I'm a great barber and I'm a great father. I'm a
Come on.
great overall, So it's a lot of guys that play this part, that they're great at this, but they suck at this behind closed doors. And it's like, I want to be good at all the platforms,
That's
good
right.
brother, good father, good friend, good boss, good coworker. It's hard to wear all these hats. And I think anybody, again, to these young men that are trying to do something in their lives is, and like you said earlier, Van, the painting, the frame must be painted. It looks beautiful. The artist, we are the artist, right? We created our own nice picture. But how long did it take it to create this amazing, mural that we have
Come
today?
on.
And
Come on.
that's the thing. It's easy to people want to go quick, but here's the now, and here's back then. But it's the how that's really important. How we get to the now, that they forget the gap, of how hard it was to get to where we're at today as
That's right.
fathers and as entrepreneurs and as leaders. And again, I know I don't know how much more time I have, but I want to just really point out, not only I became I'm a living example of, no one taught me how to become an entrepreneur. Nobody taught me how to become a boss. Nobody taught me how to become an owner, but I found ways. And thank God for God putting me the dots, meaning men, women in my life, to connect until where I am today. Which is, I became, I'm an 8 years ownership at a barbershop salon, which is mine. And, just if they want to follow me and, keep up with my journey, as not only as a single father, but they could find me at Cutting the Negativity. So it's at Cutting the Negativity, or Cutting the Negativity at yahoo.com. And when people hear that word, that was based on my lifestyle, because everything I did, I turned negative into a positive. So
Come on.
I created this nonprofit called the 24-hour haircut challenge, Cutting the Negativity. So this was 8 years ago. So what I do is I raise money for 24 hours and I cut hair for 24 hours, and everything I raise with barbers and stylists, I bring them together and I give it back to my community. So
Outstanding. That's great.
but that's, and people think that, oh, you need a lot of money to give back. I'm a living proof that, you don't have to have money you don't have to have a lot of money to give back. It's very easy. If you have a passion, a gift, use that, and
Right.
learn how, and I've learned through my event that if it wasn't for this event that I created in the barber industry, I feel like I would have never met a lot of great barbers that are my friends now. And I feel like our stories and our journeys could impact, obviously, the people around us. So, we don't know who we're going to impact and how it would change their perspective. And And I try to keep myself always grounded and know that, that no matter how far I made it right now, um, I love to cut hair for free because it reminds me um, how hard I work to get a dollar, and the sacrifice, and I'm not worshiping money,
No,
and I
you
know,
truly understand, Juan, that hard work is its own reward, and
yeah,
and and nobody can ever pay you what you worth. And the real blessing is you being able to sow those seeds and your gift making room for you.
yeah,
And not only do you understand that your gift makes room for you, but it also creates the overflow for which you can give.
yeah,
And
100%.
that is priceless. That's immeasurable. That's what we call one of those intangible blessings that we just sometimes people don't understand, that a blessing isn't always something that you can pick up and it's
Mhm.
tangible that you can hold, but it's a
Yeah,
lesson. It's the lesson. It's the opportunity. It's the hard work. It's the effort. It's the creativity. It's part of that struggle that you had in order that helped you get there. Well, I want to ask you a question.
go ahead.
About your environment with your sisters as you were growing up. Um, how was your relationship with your sisters? Did you take on the role as the baby, the male in the house, as being the man of the house, or were you always the baby in the house today?
That's funny because I think because I was the youngest and my older sisters were a little bit older than me, meaning like a couple more years. I only have one sister that's a year older than me, but my mom had me at 40.
Oh
So she
wow.
was 40, she's 76 now. I'm 36, I'm about to be 37. So by that being said, I think my sisters they took different paths at a young age, in their teenage age, where they had to leave a little bit sooner, a couple of years as I was growing up to become a young teenager. So I
Right.
never really got to grow up with most of them because as I was becoming a young man, they developed really fast.
They
They left
they were
the house.
transitioning, right?
Yeah. So, but I feel like, when they say, I want respect. All right, cool. You want respect? You have to earn it sometimes, most of the time before it's given to you, right? So I think as a man of the house or something, I had to earn it and work for it as well without even thinking about it. I didn't want them to give me that title, but I got to a point where now that we're all in our 30s and my sisters are in their 40s, they came to realize that I am they gave me that, where
Yeah.
they respect me as a man, and they saw how I grew up, and it's nothing but respect because I never disrespected them. I'm always neutral because sisters, they could get into some argument. So I'm a neutral brother. Like, I don't care if you're mad at her or her. I'm here. I'm saying hi. I love you. I don't want to hear nothing. I just want to be able to talk to you girls and say hi to everybody. But no matter where I go with all of them, I'm so blessed to have them because I could go to their home and I always have a warm meal. And they
Oh,
know I'm always going to be fed this amazing culture that we have as Latinos. And they keep
yes.
it going, And I know I know I'm the only male brother they have here in the States because I have my brother that's in Mexico from my
Right.
mom's first marriage, but who reflects us as fathers and who runs our name, our last name is our kids, right? So I feel like having my son in my life, God bless me with another me, but
Yeah.
a better version, in the future. And I tell him all the time, and I'm so thankful because I know if they treat me like this, I know they have my son if something ever happens to me.
That's
So
right. Well, Juan, I have to say this. I've been listening and I'm so grateful to hear your testimony and all of the greatness and even
mhm,
some of the things that have happened. But what I got out of it was that you're always thriving to do right
mhm,
and not to do wrong.
yeah, for sure.
All right.
For sure.
Well, this is just about wrap up your segment, and I can't do nothing but say thank you. And I just want to ask you if you would like to say one more word or two to someone out there that's listening, young boy, man, or girl, or to a mother to help her with her children. Please go forward.
I think my words for just advice to any human being in the community is that life right now it could look really hard for you. Um, it looks like there is no way out, right? But sometimes our faith, takes us in a long journey because God is, He's close. You might feel like you're far because I felt like that. And I think we got to remind ourselves that there is a higher power than us. And, you got to sometimes really have the faith to put it in His hands and allow Him to steer, this this storm that you're going through. And hopefully, that He could show you that He's still there with you, that He will always be there with you. It might take Him a while to tell you that, but that's the test of life, of being patient and see how much you love Him. And most importantly, don't give up on Him. Let Him carry your cross. That's why He's there for us. That's why He's our Father. And because it wasn't meant for you to carry it by yourself. Let Him help you carry it, or else He'll carry it all for you. And just lean to Him, because I'm trying to do that, because I'm going through it, So I'm not just speaking about it and saying, oh, well, you don't know. No, I am going through it, and I'm trying to give my cross to Him. So just so you know, and just don't forget to pray.
Well, it's touching to see how humble you are. And I know that while you're going through, we're going to be praying in agreement over everything concerning you and your family, Juan. And thank you for telling us about you and Gianni, and talking to us about cutting the negativity. That was just, that's powerful. And good news listeners, please reach out to Juan at Cut the Negativity.
Yep,
and also Juan,
as long as you put hashtag cutting the negativity, you could Google it anywhere in Google, and I pop up.
All right, cutting the negativity. We're gonna find Juan out there, good news listeners. Juan, tell us where your shop is at, and invite everybody to come by and come see you for some of that great barber side psychology.
Okay, yeah, I mean, for any young man that's trying to look for a mentor, or that wants to learn a little bit more about hair cutting, you could look me up at Instagram or Facebook at 726 Barbers and Stylists. The 726 Barbers and Stylists location is in town of Cicero on 2209 South Central Cicero, Illinois. And the way 726 is spelled is SEVEN 26 Barbers and Stylists. So again, you could look me up anytime you want. And I'll be more than happy to help out if anybody that's upcoming barber or stylist. If I can't help you, I'll find someone that can.
I love it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We truly appreciate you being here to spread the good news. Thank you so much for being on the Good News Show.
Blessings.
Please, you got to come again. You must come again.
All right. Have a good one.
Thanks, sweetie. Love you.
All right. Love y'all too.
That's a blessing.
Hi, this is Village President Rick Reinbold, and you're listening to the Mathell Given Show. Thank you, Mathell, for all of the great community service that you've done in our region. And I also look forward to the voters' support this April 9th. You're again.
All right. All right, everybody. Well, hey, this is the Good News Show. Yes, it is. And we want to thank you so much for listening in. And we have another guest on our show, a very dear friend of mine, brother in my life. He's a pastor, quite a mentor in my life. Every time I ever call him up for if I say, he was in my play. I said, well, you want to be in the play? He said, I'll do it. I call him up for advice, he give it to me. I call him up for prayer, he's gonna pray. And all I can do is say that when I called him up about the Good News Show, he said, I want to spread the good news. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to bring to the forefront without any further delays, and that would be Pastor Marty Henderson. Amen. Welcome to the Good News Show.
Yes,
Good
yes.
afternoon. Good afternoon. Boy, I'm truly blessed by the opportunity to just be a part of this show on today. Trustee Julian Alexander and Barbara Juan Acevedo. Man, this has been a blessing to me just to hear their stories and what it is that they're doing. Brothers in the basement.
Yes,
Come on.
yes.
Who'd have thought of something like that? That's so creative and important. It gives the brothers the opportunity to be transparent and, to really share some things that's going on in their lives and to strengthen one another. And I've heard it said already, as iron sharpens iron.
Yes.
That's really what that's about. And then hearing Juan, one thing that stuck out with me from Brother Juan is he said it briefly. He said it so quickly because it's so much a part of him. He said, you got to stay grounded. And wow, everything that he said talks about him being grounded in the Lord, being grounded in his family, being grounded in his career, and he is being successful primarily because of that. I thank you for allowing me to hear their testimonies and for giving me an opportunity even to share mine. My story is pretty much similar to everything that you've heard. I'm grateful to God to be a church boy. I'm a church boy. You talk
Yes,
about
you are.
Deacon Brown. Oh my God.
Yes, yes, you are. Oh my goodness.
I learned how to drive, taking my mother to church, to mission meeting and all those kinds of things. And because we were in the valley, I got a chance to ride Deacon Brown and Mama Pearl, Mom Bailey, to ride them home on Sunday and to have them pour into me those jewels and gems and things. They mentored me. I am because they were.
Yes,
You know
what, Pastor Henderson, I just need to stop because I know the listeners don't know what we talking about. Because we talked about it before we came on. But everybody, I want you to know that Pastor Henderson is my childhood friend. I was just a little old girl. I probably was crawling around on the concrete. And we grew up together, and we grew up together in the valley. That's down
in the valley
on the side of town where you went down, 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 and then the houses where we were in the valley. But we grew up at Antioch Missionary Baptist Church together. And Deacon Brown, he raised me from 8 months old. So Pastor Henderson, go with it. Tell
the story. You said from the valley. Every time I go to Argo and participate in a funeral or something like that, I always say that I'm from the valley, and I'm grateful because of that. Because I learned so much. There was so much love and family and camaraderie that was there. I'm sure that it takes place in other communities, but we had an opportunity to share in that close-knit relationship. My mother tells me stories of who my babysitters were and who she babysat and all of that. We just have a blended family, we close knit and things like that. So I'm just grateful for that influence of the church community and the Argo Summit community on my life. You know,
Yes.
I don't I'm grateful for everything that I have accomplished and all of the places that I've done and the degrees and all of that and the
Oh, yeah.
opportunities and things, but it's because people poured into me. You know, I finished my when I finished my bachelor's, I was just grateful for it. And I said that I needed to cut it up and to give so many people pieces of that degree because they really poured into me. And
Yes.
I'm just grateful for that. My story is a church boy story. You know, that is what undergirded and supported me and held me together and kept me from getting too far out there, because I did have my time, you know, with the drug scene and all that kind of stuff and things. But the church held me together. The church held me together. In fact,
Yes.
what happened was I was out getting high and doing this, and somebody saw me. One of them good old church folk saw me and said, "You know better than that. You
Come on
you
now.
know, you weren't brought up like that." And that really, that was so convicting. That was so convicting to me that I really gave my heart wholly to the Lord and surrendered to Him. And this was at the age of 16, and at 17, the day before my 18th birthday, I preached my first sermon. And so I'm
Oh,
just
wow.
grateful to God for that. So I've been preaching, it'll be 47 years now since I've been
Wow.
in the ministry, and the Lord has taken me to various places and given me opportunities to share in different ways. What I want to share with us today, we're talking about impacting the lives of men, impacting the lives of youth and children. That's something that has been uh, an integral part of my ministry from my first church. I used to pastor on the west side, Rose Hill Baptist Church on the west side. And my niece, who was a principal, who operates daycare right now, she was a freshman in college. And we had a summer youth program at Rose Hill. It was a 8-week program where we taught the kids, you know, some fundamentals and reading, taught them
Mhm.
chess and swimming and ping pong and all kinds of things like that. That was her first job as my niece. It was her first job, freshman in college. And she
Wow.
was the overseer for my summer youth program. We had 30 kids, and we started with them, and we did some mentoring things with them on field trips and things like that. So that was my first entrance into working with youth and children. And then I went to various churches and had various responsibilities. And I want to share 3 programs that we have done at the various places where I have served. One was a Children's Defense Fund Freedom School, Children's Defense Fund. Marion Wright Edelman, she was very instrumental in the Freedom Riders, and she started freedom schools, you know, in Mississippi. In fact, Robert Kennedy came to Mississippi because she was doing the voter registration. And one of the challenges for voter registration was that the people couldn't read. And so she started reading programs for them, and it has grown into a summer program that is a reading literacy program for children that gives children a safe start, a head start, a healthy start, and a happy start to sufficiency, to life and self-sufficiency. And so we have had an 8-week program where we teach the kids reading fundamentals, as well as we give them life skills and things like that. And so that's been a very, very positive program that we have had at our church. Also, we spent summers down south. we spent summers in Arkansas and Louisiana. And in Arkansas, my grandparents were farmers. And so we lived 2 weeks in the country, and then we spent
Wow.
2 weeks in the city. And so we just had a wonderful time. And I didn't know that experience was being inbred in me so deeply, because we had an opportunity at our church to purchase some land where we were going to build a new church, but then the economy fell out. And so I'm praying, Lord, what do I do with this land? And so I have had family members that were incarcerated. And so I have a heart for working with people who have been incarcerated. They are no longer known as ex-offenders, but they are called returning citizens. And so we have programs at our church with returning citizens. And so we have this land, 6 acres of land, and buildings and everything like that. And I'm trying, Lord, show me, what do I do? What do I do? And so we started a farming program. And so we have 3 phases of that farming program. We work with children who are in high school, and we teach them the fundamentals of urban farming and things like that. And we try to steer them to HBCUs that have scholarships that they provide for young people who are going into careers in farming, in pharmacy. It's 26 careers that are related to agriculture. And
Yes.
so we want to send our youth to these HBCUs. It's you can even get a full ride in the veterinary sciences, because farming includes taking care of livestock. So it's, oh man, it's the opportunity is vast for doing that.
Well, so Pastor Henderson, I'm telling you, you are preaching to the people. Not only are you preaching, but you're teaching, because the word of God tells us that the people only perish because of lack of vision. There is no lack of vision on your end.
Yeah, we thank God. We thank God for that. So that's one of the programs where we work with the high school students. And then we have a summer program, Growing Youth Through Farming, same principles, 6-week program, where we work with the city of Gary, and they provide a stipend for them for 6 weeks while they're working, and we teach them the principles of urban farming. Well, the farm that we have is called Peace Garden and Farms. Peace Garden and Farms empowers intergenerational food security through education, training, and experience in sustainable agricultural systems. We grow people. So we thank God for that opportunity. And then the other piece, which is our main program with returning citizens, is the Urban Agricultural Entrepreneurial Internship Program, where we have a partnership with Work One, where we provide a 10-week stipend for returning citizens and for people who are hard to employ, to teach them the principles of urban farming. And we have 4 phases that we go through with them. One is we work with them in the 7 areas of life training. That is psychological, physical, financial, parental, marital, spiritual, and social. We try to help them get on their feet in those 7 areas. And then because they have been incarcerated, one of the things that I have learned from those people who have been incarcerated is that, especially if they've been caught up in the drug game, is that they have an entrepreneurial spirit. They have a business mindset. I'm telling you, and if they used it to sling what they slinging, man, they can use it to sling something that's good, healthy, and positive. And we all need food. I don't know anybody who can survive without some food.
Come
And
on
so
now.
if we teach them how to grow food, one of the things that we're trying to do is to get a program with the mayor of the city of Gary, where he will give us a lot for the people who are involved in our program, and that will become their business. They will grow their food on that lot. They'll grow that food on their lot. So we have the salt training, we have the principles of urban farming, and then we try to teach them how to develop a business plan. How to develop a business plan. So once they've gone through our program, they have the framework for starting the minimum business plan for them to start their particular business. And then another thing with those who are returning citizens, they are leaders. They are leaders. If they have a crew, if they have a gang, if they have some brothers or sisters that's working with them, they are leaders. But we've got to steer their leadership into a particular direction. So John Maxwell, he has a book that's entitled The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. And so we go with them through those 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. And we've had some brothers and sisters who've gone through our program who have gone on to get various jobs here and there. In fact, we had one of our sisters is not a member of our church. She's not a member of our church, but she's the most faithful tither that I have ever encountered. She came to church Sunday for the first time in the 3 years that I have known her. But in all of those 3 years, she's been a faithful tither. She calls me here and there, asking me what's about this, asking me about that, asking me about this, asking me about that. It's just so amazing, the things that we have an opportunity to share a part of our programs there at the church. And I want to thank you all for inviting me. Thank you all so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You're a blessing. You're a blessing to our show. We thank you so much for sharing. And one thing I can say, you all are keeping the young men and women busy.
Oh yeah.
They don't have time to think about anything to get into. And that's a good thing. It's awesome. Yes.
Pastor Henderson, you look so happy, and I can tell it's directly connected to your spirit of willingness. This is you have emptied yourself out and allow God to fill you up. And it is so amazing. When you got ready, when you started listing those 7 areas in which you work with the returning citizens and work with people that need economic development in their lives. Can you repeat that for what the 7 areas were?
7 areas. Okay. Physical, psychological, financial, parental, spiritual, and social. Yeah.
That's a blessing.
All of those are biblically based program phases that people need help in,
I love
building
it,
up
because I think it's really about acknowledging that we're multifaceted people. We are mind, body, and spirit.
Oh yeah.
When I talk to my kids as athletes, I keep telling them that you have to get bigger, stronger, faster, and wiser. And we talk about that sports IQ, and we talk about, what it means for you to get bigger, stronger, and faster, your mental, physical, and your spiritual development. The importance of having a balance in between all of it, and understanding the physical effects of something, the mental effects of something, and the spiritual ramifications of it.
Oh yeah.
And I'm sure you're getting great results out of the program. in what areas is the program available so we can let the public know how to get in contact with you and if they can also be a part of it? Because I know people that are just not returning citizens, but you know, we got actual folks in the community that need this type of opportunity, that everyday opportunities that are getting right past our people. And I love the fact how you are reintroducing the concept of agriculture and horticulture back into the culture. And it is a blessing because we know that our people, that we came from that kind of demographic. When I grew up in Argo, people don't believe that we used to go down in the cuts and go up
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
go up on the other side, and it was literally farmland out there. I remember before Cedar was handing out the blocks of cheese and a pound of milk. I would reach right up and snatch an apple off the tree. Go out in the garden, go get some tomatoes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's so important. You know, we were brought over here. We were taken from our native land. You see this picture in back of me. You know, I do witnessing and things all over everywhere. And so I have a son that's an African in Ghana. And so he's one of my sons in the ministry. And he looked up at the picture and he said, "What is that?" I said, "That's an African family, you know, with their traditional head guard." But what I want to say is that when our ancestors came over here from Africa, they had their hair in braids, but inside of the braids were seeds. They put seeds in their hair of their favorite crops that they grew in the motherland. And so they brought that over here to America. We talk about the cotton and everything that we picked and how we created this nation through cotton, but they ain't saying nothing about rice. They haven't said a word about rice coming from Africa too. They ain't said nothing about sweet potatoes and yams and things that came from Africa too. They haven't said anything about okra. Are you here with me? They haven't said anything.
Come on now.
Man, peas and all that kind of stuff that came from Africa. It's in us. It's in us. We come from an agricultural agrarian society, you know. So man, you know, my grandfather, the one who was in the country, he was a sharecropper. Sharecroppers were people who worked the land for the landowner, and they gave them the opportunity to live on the land. And it was just another form of glorified slavery after, you know, they emancipated us. They put us back into it because we still had to pay for the crops and the tools and the different things like that. But out of that, God just grew us into a strong nation, into some strong people. And I love the stories of Booker T. Washington and George Washington Carver, Hanny Lou Hamer, you know, and all of those people who are a part of the struggle and the story of our dignity and quest for civil rights today. You know, you can't talk about civil rights without talking about agriculture and food and the contributions that agriculture. You know, Fannie Lou Hamer was the one who said, "I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired." You know,
Come on now.
You know, she was, oh God, don't get me started talking about this agriculture.
Well, listen,
But
we're
listen,
gonna
man,
have to wrap it up.
yeah, okay, let me say this. You know, the civil rights movement, she was a mother behind the movement. And President Johnson, she was to be interviewed on national television, and President Johnson came on with a speech so that she would not be carried all across the nation. That's somebody who was in agriculture. Oh man, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop.
Agriculture giant.
But I'm telling you, man, this is important. You know, you asked, and you know, you asked us to think about what we would say
Yes.
to some mother or to some child. Am I right about that?
Yes.
Yes.
You know, let me tell you.
And a father, and to a father.
And father. Okay, let me tell you. I was in the classroom for 9 years. I coached basketball and all that kind of stuff too. I was a bivocational pastor for some time there. And I told my students, my athletes, as well as taught my children in my home and those youth wherever I encounter them, this one thing: find what it is that you want to do in life, that you love so much, that when you go to bed at night, you're saying, oh shit, I gotta stop. I can't do it now. Oh man, oh, and go to sleep, dream about it, and wake up in the morning and say, hey,
I get to do it again.
To do it again, man. That's, you find that thing, and it will fuel. It will be your passion. It will give you fuel. It give you energy. It give you motivation. And somebody was talking about you. I think you said that. I think you said something about doing something that you don't have to get paid for, that you're not doing just to get money from it. It's just something that's on the inside of you that you, oh Lord, I get a chance to do it. I get a chance to do it. I get a chance to do it. I get a chance.
Pastor, I always tell my children, I say, you know what, I love y'all so much with all my heart. I said, I know I need a t-shirt on that say I don't have to, I get to.
Hey, go ahead on.
I don't have to. I get to, because I know it's in my willingness that I'm blessed. The more I say yes, the more I'm blessed.
Yes. Thank you.
All right. Woo! This has been powerful.
So that's good news. That's good news.
Praise the Lord.
Good news.
Praise
I mean, nothing but good news. Thank you so much, Pastor Henderson, for sharing the good news and all your wisdom. And all of our panelists have shown, they've just shared so much wisdom here tonight. And I just pray that it touches somebody. Say, if it don't be but one somebody, amen. Then I know the blessings of the Lord will be upon it.
Oh yes.
So I thank you.
Let me give you how to get in touch with me. Let me give you how to get in touch.
Please tell us how to get in touch with you.
It's Peace, GAF. Peace, PEACEGAF, Peace Garden Farms, at sbcglobal.net. Peace.
Man.
Peace, GAF, at sbcglobal.net. Just shoot me an email and
sbcglobal.net. All right, folks. Y'all just heard from Pastor Marty Henderson. We thank God for his testimony and his light because it's bright. And we know that today we surely got some good news.
Praise God.
Amen. Come again. And when you want to just have a segment on about farming and how you helping the kids and what you're doing, you just call me up.
Okay, I sure will.
The platform is yours.
Oh God.
We definitely have to do a part 2 with you.
You know, because I'm gonna say it again. I'll tell everybody out there listening, you all are number one in my book. Gladys Knight say y'all number one, but hey, I say you're number one in my book, and Pastor Henderson, you're surely number one in my book.
Love you.
God bless you. Love you.
Love you too. All righty, sure thing.
All right, thank you.
Hey, this is Rick Reinbold, Village President. Hi, I'm Julianne Alexander, trustee of the Village of Richton Park, and I love the Mathell Givens Show. Keep it here, keep it locked on the Mathell Givens radio show.
All right, everybody. Oh, Van the Man, Oh, what a show tonight. Oh, I just believe, I know that that was truly an encouraging show, was inspiring. It gives hope to mothers like me that have sons and daughters out there that may be trying to turn left when we need them to turn right. You know, when they trying to do wrong and we need them to do right. I just know that there's been a word expressed here tonight that is a blessing.
Yes, I'm going to tell you, I've truly been lifted. We know that information is power, and we want to make sure that all our listeners are informed so that you can experience what it feels like to know what empowerment feels like. You are just a resource away from your blessing. You just need to walk through a door when you find that opportunity. You're going to hear something on the Good News Show that's going to help you grow where you're planted.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. We're going to wrap it up.
All righty.
We thank
Bye
you
now.
so much.
Bless you. Love you. Love you. Love
We
you.
love you
Love you,
more.
Pastor.
Okay,
I
bless you.
tell y'all, it's
Bye-bye.
been something
Come on.
about tonight. Bye, Pastor. All right. It's been something about tonight. Woo! Yes.
Oh, that was wonderful.
Yes. Something about tonight.
It just feels right. Something about tonight.
Yes.
Right. Oh, something about tonight. It just feels right. Something about tonight. Feels right. Bye-bye, y'all.
All right,
Love
everybody. We love you. We love you. We love you. And we thank you. I love you, baby. And we thank you so much again for over and over and over again choosing to be with us, because we know that you could be anywhere, but you stop by here, you pause for the call and take a slight brief intermission and hang out with us here on the Good News Show. We love you. Have a great rest of the night. Mwah.